My name is Shinobu Yoshida, a regular housewife, 32 years old. There was nothing too special about me. I really am just a simple housewife, but my husband owns a business. He runs the company himself, and for the past few years, the sales have been going up, and we've had the fortune of living a very comfortable life. I was so proud of him. He would treat me to spa days, nice dinner dates, and even trips around the country. He did everything he could think of to treat me and spoil me like a princess. I don't think I can ever find a husband like him anywhere else. Now, since his company was beginning to do very well, going on the right track, my husband decided to make a branch office out of town. This also meant that we had to move out. It was unreasonable for him to try and commute to this new office. That wasn't a choice at all. At first, we thought maybe he could just fly there by himself and work and live there alone, but at the time, we didn't have any kids. For the both of us, it felt natural for me to go along with him. Our plan was to only live here for just 2 years, so we thought it was fine to just rent out an apartment for the time being. But we couldn't find a nice apartment around the office area, so we got stuck buying a brand new house. But we talked about this choice that we had, and said we could just lease the place out for other people once we were done getting the branch office set up and running. The house that we had bought was pretty big compared to the other homes in the same neighborhood. Everyone in the block was curious to see who was going to move into this mansion-like house. Honey, are you really sure you were okay with getting this place?
What are you talking about? I want you to make the most of your time here, and I want you to live comfortably.
Honey, thank you so much.
No, don't be. Let's both make the most of our 2 years in this town.
I was very worried at heart, wondering if this new life of ours would really work out or not. However, hello ma'am, I'm Adachi, I'll be your neighbor here. I live 2 houses next door to yours. Oh, I'm Takabayashi, I'm so happy to meet you. Ibayoka here, I also live on this block. 3 ladies that live in the same neighborhood, including my next door neighbor, came over to greet me. They were very bubbly and welcoming, and appeared to be very excited to finally get to talk to me, now that I've officially moved in. This relieved me, for it felt like I was really welcomed into this new town. With these new neighbors, I felt I would do just fine in this new environment. However... Hi, Miss Yoshida, do you have a bit of time right now? Good afternoon, Miss Adachi. How are you doing? You know, Miss Takabayashi Imaoka and I often gather for some tea and chat over nice snacks and drinks. And we were talking. Would you like to join us? We would love to get to know you better. Thank you very much for your kind offer. This made my day. I would love to join you for some tea. Good, that settles it then. But we have a little bit of a problem, you know? The coffee place that we used to go to all the time closed down recently. It's gone out of business. What a shame. If that's the case, why don't you all come around to our home? Are you sure? Of course. You all gave me such a warm welcome to the neighborhood when we moved in. I'll tell both Miss Takabayashi and Imaoka about this. Just like that, I decided to host a small get-together with the neighbors I had befriended at my new home. I genuinely wanted to do something nice for them. I was very excited about hosting this tea party, so I went ahead and ordered a cake that everybody might enjoy, as well as some snacks, and prepared a wide range of high-brand teas. I really wanted to make this work, and I wanted my neighbors to enjoy their time at our place. And then came the day of the tea party. Oh my goodness, this cake looks absolutely delicious! And this tea! Have you all tried this? I've never had a tea like this. Look at this tea set too! The cups and saucers, even I know this tableware brand. I was so happy that they were enjoying this gathering today and glad the cakes and tea were to their likings. However, oh, Miss Yoshida, I feel very shameless to ask such a thing, but do you mind if I take some of the tea cakes and cookies back home? I thought my kids would like it if I brought home some sweets for them. Oh, right, sure. Of course, go ahead. Once I said yes to Miss Adachi, that was the call for the other 2 ladies, as they all began asking for things to take home. Oh, really? Then, Miss Adachi, if you don't mind me asking too, can I bring home the leftover tea from today? do you have any leftover cups and plates that you won't be using anymore? Each person, all of them, began asking for things around my house. Sure, my husband and I won't probably be drinking the leftover tea with just the two of us. And as for the tableware, we had cups and plates that we used in our old home still stored in some of the unopened boxes. I was slightly surprised and a bit pushed back by their energy, but this day, I said yes to them taking home the things that they asked for, and they happily left for the day. Then, a few days later, I received a message from Miss Takabayashi. Hi, Miss Yoshida, how are you doing? My family, and of course, I'm loving the tea you gave us. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed the tea so much. Please, you must share them with me again. Yeah, sure. I'm counting on you. Oh, right. Do you have any plans for the weekend? Is something the matter? We were talking. Oh, we as in Miss Adachi and Miss Amayoka, our little friend group, you know. We were talking. Maybe an outing would be fun instead of just having tea. Oh, thank you so much for your kind offer again. Oh, great. Then we'll meet you up at the station on Sunday. Okay, I'll see you then. I can't wait. And so, I got invited to this group's gathering again. I told my husband about this. Of course, I couldn't just go out like that without telling him, and he said to me,
Wow. I was a bit worried at first moving into this new environment, but I'm glad you're doing all right. I'm sorry for not being able to be around as much.
I'm sorry that I'm leaving the house for you to take care of this weekend.
Don't worry about me. I can take care of myself just fine. You go out there and have fun this Sunday, okay?
Aw, thank you so much, honey. I'll be sure to get you something while I'm out. I arrived at the station on Sunday and met up with the three neighbors. We began walking as a group of 4, and I completely thought that we were going to go out shopping, or maybe hop a cute cafe or something. However, well, let's head over to our destination, shall we? Oh, I'm just too excited. It's my first time going to Jaja-en. I actually skipped breakfast this morning. I'm so prepared to be eating tons today. The three, Adachi, Takabayashi, and Amayoka, headed straight towards this yakiniku barbecue restaurant. The price range was ridiculous. Once we got to our tables and opened the menu, the three instantly jumped to their choices. Ooh, what should we start with? Oh, I've been dying to try some Chateaubriand steak. I wonder what it's like. It is a special day after all. Let's order some wine. Not by the glass, by the bottle. They were quick to decide on what to order, and unsurprisingly, they all jumped to the most expensive choices. When we had finished our meal and went over to the desk to pay, we really appreciate it. Everybody really does need a rich friend in their lives. Oh, do you think I could still add on to the orders? Because the three of them had to order the priciest choices on the menu. The grand total was roughly $1,000. Sure, I was partially at fault here because I couldn't say anything to them. I was pressured into taking out my card and just paid for the meal. What's worse is that this isn't even my money that I'm spending. It's money that my dear husband worked so hard to earn. When I came back home, I quickly told my husband what had happened.
I see. Just when you thought you were able to find a nice friend group. That sucks, huh?
I'm so sorry.
Honey, it's okay. You never wasted any money, and you're always able to make ends meet. You always support our family perfectly. If it's to smoothen our relationships, don't stress about it. But, as for the money you spent on these neighbors, can you promise me to keep the receipts separate from everything else?
Okay, got it. Even after the Jaja-en incident, things like this continued with my three neighbors. But every time I covered for their payments, I would go up to my husband later that night, show him the receipts, and explain the gist of what had happened that day. He would say that if we were to pull a face when paying for things like this, it would cause even more stress on the relationship, and it's just best to stay out of trouble when we can. But it was getting to the point that it wasn't about that anymore. I was starting to get sick and fed up with these neighbors, always swarming around me for our money. Then, one day, on my way home from my usual grocery shopping, I noticed Adachi, Takabayashi, and Amayoka chatting in the streets. Miss Yoshida's such a good tool for us, isn't she? I quickly hid behind whatever was there to listen into their conversation. I know, right? Thanks to her, we're eating good. But doesn't she always look annoyed at us when she's paying? Oh, who cares what she thinks? She's only gonna be around here for 2 years, and I bet she's looking down on us anyways. She must think we're lowly peasants, so that's what we'll give her. Let's get as much as we want while we can. Okay, that would be an overstatement. I was definitely sure of their schemes, and was aware that they were only being friendly with me because I was rich. However, to hear them talk like this, so bluntly, so abrasively, I wasn't gonna take this anymore. I danced out in front of them with a cool face and called out, "Oh, hello there! How are you doing?" They jumped in surprise to see me, but kept a straight face as I talked. I totally pretended I never heard a single word from their conversation and said, "It's so hot today, isn't it? At times like this, don't you want to go somewhere cool? Maybe a nice summer resort, a nice hotel, and just spend some relaxing time there?" After hearing these words, their eyes glinted in greed. Such simple-minded, easy to manipulate. Oh, that sounds absolutely amazing! Leave the booking to me. I'll be sure to find the perfect place for us to stay at. Wait, there's this place that I've been dying to visit. The three were thrilled at my proposal and quickly began looking up summer resorts and hotel plans on the web. I came back home and talked to my husband about going to a summer resort for the holidays. He quietly listened into my plan and smiled as he said,
"I'll leave everything to you, Shinobu."
A few days later, I received a message from one of the group members that they had reserved a sweet hotel room for a very famous resort area known for their summer getaway packages. Hi, Miss Yoshida! For our trip that we were talking about, the hotel's check-in time is 10 a.m. I actually have some stuff going on that day, so I think I'll be arriving at noon. I just can't wait. Oh, this is so much fun! I've never been more excited in my life! On the day of our trip, just around 12 o'clock p.m., I received a message from the text group. Miss Yoshida, are you running late? What time do you think you'll get here? We're already starting the party. Oh, how are you liking the hotel you chose? We totally are. Takabayashi was so hyped up, she brought some drinks on the bullet train to get here. She was already hammered when we arrived at the hotel. She ordered us some more wine from the room service menu. Do you mind me asking, how much did the room service wine cost? Let me see. Oh, shucks. It says $10,000. I didn't know it cost that much. Oh, how fun. So then, when are you arriving? Huh? I'm not going over to your place. What? I'm at a hotel in Hakodate with my husband. We're spending our time in peace and quiet. You're joking, right? What do you mean, joke? I'm in Hakodate with my husband. That's it. This was my plan. I was in a completely different hotel with my husband, spending some time away from the hustle and bustle. I got frantic phone calls from Adachi, who must have been in a hysterical, panicked fit right now. Hey, excuse me. Why are you not here? Is it true that you told Miss Imeoko that you won't be coming to our trip? If you aren't here then who will be paying for the suite room? There's no way any of us here would be able to pay tonight. Oh, well, I'm terribly sorry if there was any confusion about this, but I never said let's all go together. Maybe you just misheard me? Aw, what on earth are you rambling about? Use your brain for a second now and really try and remember the exact words I said back then. I just said, maybe it's nice to spend some time at a summer resort. I just said an idea, something that sounds nice to do. But that's... They basically took what I said, converted it into an invitation for themselves, and just ran with it. They decided on a place to stay, booked the rooms, everything. Every time they would go out shopping or head out of town and I was there with them, they would just buy everything, eat everything, take everything. They would pretty much destroy every town they visit. There were even times when they forgot their wallets. I can swear to God it was deliberate. I wanted to get back at them somehow, and getting revenge at a normal shopping mall wouldn't be enough to satisfy my needs. That's why I slipped words like summer resort and gave them imagery of luxury hotels to bait them. When I first told my husband about this plan, he was super supportive and very visibly excited about it.
Yo, that sounds like an awesome plan! Shinobu, you're the best! I can't wait to spend time with you in Hokkaido, Shinobu!
Isn't he the cutest? I'm so lucky to have him in my life. And so, the 3 shameless housewives fell into my trap. They fell for it, but they weren't going to be quiet about it. Just hurry up and get over here! Show your face right this instant! No, I mean, yes, but just give us the money. What should we do? We already opened this wine bottle and it cost 10 grand. And we ordered so much room service. I'm sure the alcohol wasn't doing much to help in this situation. They were all over the place as they screamed, yelled, and wailed into the phone speaker. To that, I simply replied, "Well, you guys must be having it rough over there. But I have to say, that's what you get for trying to go on vacation 100% dependent on another person's money. Now then, I'm sure you'll be paying roughly 20 grand in total with the 3 of you." No, I won't be accepting this. I'll never forgive you. Oh, and for all the money you've been asking me to pay all this time, I have all the receipts piled up in my office. Stacks for each and every one of you. I'll be taking the necessary steps and procedures to demand payments to send to your husbands. Wait, no way. Of course, I received an enormous amount of text messages and phone calls, but as any person would do, I turned off the battery on my phone and ignored every single one of them. After that, honestly, I could care less about what happened to the dumb trio, but I was genuinely worried that I had done something bad to the hotel. The 3, of course, tried to rush out of the hotel, scrambling to go home. However, they had already checked into their suite rooms, and it was impossible for them to run away without paying for the room fees. The full price for the suite room, the 10 grand wine, and all of the miscellaneous orders they placed on room service, the total price for 3 people was just under $20,000. The hotel side of things were furious about the situation, and it almost turned into a whole fiasco with the police involved. But the 3 managed to make it out by begging, crying, and lots of apologizing. I knew that I would be causing a lot of trouble for the hotel with this plan I had thought of, so I obviously felt very bad after hearing what actually happened after my call. I promised myself that the next time I had a chance to visit this hotel with my husband, we would make sure to actively use their hotel services and pay for as many things as we could. Aside from the hotel ruckus, I had sent each of their husbands an itemized invoice, literally, with the aid of a lawyer. I'm sure by the time the 3 idiots got home, they would be harshly scolded by their husbands. Well, at least one of them did, because I was able to hear some serious yelling when I was out in my front yard. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Each of these housewives owed me more than $5,000, and for the hotel fee that they were caught with, it was an estimated sum of $6,700 each person. The average office worker would probably faint seeing that kind of number. Well, my husband could easily pay for that in a heartbeat if you explained the deal to him. He was right to have told me to keep all of the receipts from the outings. I was so glad I trusted him and listened to him back then. But this also meant that although he kept saying it's okay when I told him about this whole payment problem, in his mind, he was never okay with letting me spend all of his money. He had planned for them to pay it in a sum all along.
You may have lost some opportunities to go out shopping and stuff with your neighbors, but I can always go along with you. Let's spend more time together, now that you don't have to deal with these people anymore, okay?
Thank you so much, honey. I would much rather go out on the weekends with you. I completely lost contact with the 3 neighbors since then, but actually, the story doesn't end here. When I went to the local grocery store to do my shopping, I ran into Adachi, who was working part-time at the cash register. I guess she was working hard to pay off that debt she made herself. Oh, and just for the record, despite my life in my mansion, the groceries I buy are perfectly normal. One day, when I lined up to pay for my things, I ran into Adachi's cashier line. Adachi took one look at my cart of groceries and started yelling at me. Buying cheap products like this and showing them off to me? What are you trying to say? Are you making fun of me? Oh, I'm sure I have every right to buy whatever I want. Do you even have the right to question my choices? Is that what you're doing right now? Like that, I instantly called for the manager's presence. The manager just gave me the standard scripted apology, and Adachi was quickly fired after this incident. The other two, Takabayashi and Imaoka, seem to have this problem of shoving all their anger towards me whenever they have the chance to do so. You've finally shown your true natures, haven't you? My husband was furious. I've never seen him this angry before, and we decided to invest in some home security items.
We've got a powerful lawyer on our side, too. There's no way we would ever lose this case if we ever bring things to court. We'll go all out if we need to.
They really seemed to tick him off, big time. Of course, the ignorant housewives would never know my husband was this angry. They kept pestering us and our home, until finally, it happened. One of the three got in trouble with the police. The most malicious out of the three was Miss Adachi, our next-door neighbor. She was the most hateful towards me. She would come around to throw away all of her trash from the night before in our front yard. With the amount of trash being thrown out increasing by the day, and after finding threatening letters in the pile, my husband called the police to file an official report. The day the police arrived, Miss Adachi's husband was at home too, so for the time being, things were settled through a discussion. After the police went away, Mr. Adachi rushed over to our place to apologize.
I am so terribly sorry for what my wife has done. I sincerely apologize. I am willing to do whatever I can to pay for the damages, so please, could we somehow settle this out of court? Well, sure, if you're able to properly control your wife so she never does something like this ever again, but I hate to say this, but your wife really does have issues with my wife, and it's totally unreasonable. I have to say, she brought this upon herself. My wife's physical and mental safety comes first, Mr. Adachi. If that requirement isn't met, I'm sorry, but we'll have to bring this into court.
My husband's strong attitude sent Mr. Adachi home. In the end, Miss Adachi only got charged for an anti-nuisance ordinance, and she wasn't put into jail or anything. However, rumors spread through the whole town like wildfire, and it must have made it very difficult to keep living in the same town. Within a matter of a few months, all three families had moved out. Of course, the ones at fault are the housewives. Their husbands and children had done nothing wrong. It was a huge win for us, but it didn't really feel all that well after they moved out. Aw man, I kind of feel bad now because it's like I chased the families out of their homes.
Oh, Shinobu, don't overthink it. You did nothing wrong, and I don't think we made any wrong decisions. Let's just hope that the new neighbors that move in are nice people.
I guess that's true. Thank you for always being the best partner.
Huh? What's this all of a sudden? I always feel the same way.
For me, I always try to think that the money I'm spending isn't mine. That's why I never go out of my way to tell people that I'm living a comfortable life or how much money I'm spending on things. Never. People who come and attack me or expect me to get things for them just because they assume that I'm rich will always be in the wrong. I hope you take away the moral of this story. Don't let money and greed ruin your lives.